Star Wars Jedi Survivor. We are getting closer and closer to this game, which I'm so excited about, even though the game obviously got delayed 6 weeks. But today we finally got our first actual gameplay. 9 minutes courtesy of IGN. Not fully unedited, but basically highlights from what looks like maybe a 1-hour play session or something like that. I wanted to walk you through most of the gameplay here and really dig into the nitty-gritty details of this, as there are a couple of things we can learn from this that were previously not known, including completely new gameplay mechanics, which I still don't quite understand, some really cool combos, enemies, and things like that. I also want to remind you guys that if you guys are looking for something to do while you're waiting for this game, the prequel book, Star Wars Jedi Battle Scars, is actually released in March, like 1.5 months before the game, and you can get it completely free as an audiobook if you follow my Audible link in the description below. There's really no strings attached. If you get the trial now and use your 1 free credit to claim the pre-order of this book, you will get it when it releases next month without having to pay anything, and it will basically bridge the gap between the two games and explain what happened to the crew and how they split up. But now, let's get into the actual gameplay. So the gameplay is set on a planet called Kobo, a new planet where Cal crashes with the Mantis, and the setting of this gameplay is basically that he needs to seek out help to repair his ship. And on this planet, there is a Lucrehulk ship and some faction of armored enemies who seems to control these old separatist droids, which I'm really happy about, as it gives us a lot more variety in the type of enemies we will be facing off against. And like always, like a true Jedi Cal Kestis is, he slaughters a bunch of innocent animals in this gameplay as well. Or innocent might not be the right word, but a lot of animals. So he stays true to the roots of the first game. A lot of gameplay things are the same as the first game, like the stim system, opening up chests, scanning, listening to force echoes, as well as the fact that the actual force meter seems to work the same way, where you drain it by using force powers or combos, and you get it back by hitting enemies. But there is something new about this. I don't know the official name of it, but I just call it the Golden Hourglass. As you can see at the bottom, it seems to be a little bit of like an ultimate ability-ish, where when you activate it, it looks like it first of all slows down the enemies a little bit, but that might just be when you activate it. But most importantly, you seem to get the force powers back way faster than normally, which means you can combo a lot more force powers and abilities than you previously could. I'm personally very excited for this, because in the first game, if you use some of your best combos or force abilities, you could chain maybe 2, possibly 3 of them in a row, and then you had to resort to hitting a lot of enemies or using stims to get your force powers back. So it would be nice to occasionally be able to kind of go all out and use the crap out of your abilities and combos. There's also a couple of new combos we can see, like the new overhead jump slash looks really nice, and I personally love this successful parry, which turns into an awesome saber staff combo execute, like in the previous game, where if you parry an enemy that you can kill in one hit, you will do some type of animation where you execute him, and I think that's what we're seeing here, although this looks way cooler than anything in the first game. It seems like there's also a new ability where you can lift up enemies and then push them back, which is quite interesting. And another thing I noticed is that there seems to be more items you can pick up with the force and throw on enemies, something I'm personally very excited for. It almost brings back memories of playing the old Revenge of the Sith game, where you could do that pretty much all the time. You could almost complete the game by just throwing stuff at enemies. The first game had a few times you could do that, but not as much as it looks like in this gameplay. Some other improvements I noticed is that the map system looks way more clear, to be honest, and it seems like you can use BD1 as binoculars and actually zoom in the world, as well as set beacons for wherever you want to go. So I think that's good, because personally I thought the map in Fallen Order was quite confusing. Although I've done 3 playthroughs now, I still can't really get a hang of it. It might just be me, but there was definitely improvements to be done to both that and the UI overall. I don't really have much complaints to the gameplay. The only thing was that I thought the running animation looked a bit strange, almost like Cal shat his pants or something like that. I can't really put my finger on what it is. But other than that, I think it all looks good. The graphics looks better than the first game, and it literally looks like what I hoped for, that they would take most of the stuff from the first game, keep that, improve the gameplay with some new combos, new additions, and a few new gameplay mechanics, and then obviously brand new enemies, settings, and all that kind of stuff. So it's really all what I hoped for based on this 9-minute gameplay session. Of course, there's still a lot of things we haven't seen, like boss fights, as well as the cross saber guard stance or the saber and blaster pistol stance too. So there's way more to be shown, but I don't think we're gonna see too much more from Star Wars Jedi Survivor before its release. Maybe something at Star Wars Celebration. Tricky to say, but this gameplay alone definitely made me very excited. Anyways, let me know in the comments below what you think about this gameplay, and are you excited to get your hands on this game when it launches in April? Thank you very much for watching, and as always, may the Force be with you.